Mr. Shetty, I was asking you about the pricing and, to your mind, you think it's too steep at such high prices? Do you see an aggressive bidding process at all?
Yeah, so the reserve price seems to be, on the face of it, seems to be quite high. And see, a couple of factors. I mean, typically when you have 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 operators and then you have another round of auction, it is okay. But we already have quite a large number of operators. On top of that, the reserve price is obviously higher than even the 3G price. So yes, I mean, right now, considering the current telecom situation in the country, people would be slightly skeptical before investing at these prices.
Right. Roman, we'll just sort of have to keep you hanging there because we might have to go across to the chairman of the TRA, Mr. J.S. Sarma. He's speaking in the capital. Let's cut across to it. Well, in just a bit, but Roman, I'm going to come back to you in terms of what you were saying about the, the business viability really of such high prices.
Right. So, typically, like I said, I mean, we've got 9-10 operators. We've got one of the lowest ARPUs in the world, right? And with that, it's not going to be easy to make money. And everybody has a business case of making a particular return in a specific number of years. So currently, with these prices, that business case may not look extremely viable. And therefore, people would think twice before actually. And remember, this is just the reserve price. In an auction, it always goes upward, right? So it would be difficult.
Right. Also, in terms of, the fact that no sort of attention was given, Romal, to those folks who were one of those 122 licenses that the Supreme Court decided to go ahead and cancel. So basically, whether it's a Telenor or an Airtel, they're pretty much on the same playing field here.
So, yes, I mean, that is true. But I guess, this probably would have come more from a legal implications that of wanting to allow everybody and not restricting it only to the 122 or the people who lost license and the new players as such. So I guess there were some implications because of which they took this decision. And obviously from the people who've lost out, obviously this will be a big hit for them.
Okay. I mean, Romal, I don't know if you've had the opportunity really to go through some of these rollout obligations that have been put out, but I just want you to talk to us about what you think in terms of, requiring 100% rural coverage, obligations based on population. What is it that you're making on the face of it all, of course?
See, I think in what I would typically say is anybody who is obviously who comes in new into India or some of these other guys who've lost their license, now for them to obviously have 100% rollout within a particular time period is and especially in a country like India, as vast and diverse as India, makes it a bit difficult for them. The government's objective is clear, yes, that this needs to reach every nook and corner of the country. But from an operator perspective, especially in a difficult, economically difficult market for at least for the next couple of years, always generally always puts a lot of strain on them.
Okay, Roman, in terms of the CDMA reserve price, it's about 1.5 times the 3G price. What do you make of that?
Like I said, so I think, if you ask me honestly, I mean, most of the players are probably moving towards the GSM and less towards the CDMA side. So I don't know, what is that a deterrent or what it is. But typically most operators have come in, and even the CDMA guys, generally most of them have actually moved towards GSM. So, I'm not sure, why it was done at 1.5 times.
Okay, let's go back to what you said to us earlier then about how the reserve price, at least on the face of it, you said, seemed to be high and it wasn't going to be easy. But do you think that the TRA has tried to probably make it easy by, having a sort of deferred payment and schedule for the auctions? And like, we've been saying that there's 1900 megahertz that will be out for immediate release, and then by 2014 another 700 megahertz that up for auction. So what do you suppose is the rationale, and from an industry point of view, what does it mean?
See, two things. One, I think obviously, when you have deferred payment and a deferred structure, it just helps you sort of, at least you don't need to do the whole big bang. You can at least, do it step by step. So it just helps you, this whole thing. But there is a different side to it also, is that if the auctions or the granting of spectrum only happens after a particular period of time, and this is in the context of especially the guys who've lost the license, For them, their operations stop on June 2nd, technically, because that's the Supreme Court date. After that, then they would have to wait for a long period before the auctions are done, results are announced, and then they need to sort of do all of the other obligations. So in their context, I think it would hurt them. But otherwise, yes, this would at least help reduce some bit of the blow, which otherwise you would have had to pay straight away at the start.
All right. Roman, in terms of, I'm sure there are a whole bunch of telecom operators that you on a daily basis talk to. How much would you say that these recommendations that have been put out by the TRAI have met? Let's not get the reserve price in the way, because of course you've put it out there in the front that yes, they are pretty expensive and it's going to be a little tough. But in terms of, the other, whether it's rollout obligations and the kind of circles that are up for grabs, how much would you say that this has met what the industry was hoping for?
Yeah, I think, it's a difficult question. I mean, and I think a question which maybe Dr. Sharma would be able to answer. But what I know is that even in the industry, it's not that the industry, there is only one particular voice. I mean, the people who've lost out, would require something different. The incumbents would require something else. The newer players who want to enter into India will have some other requirements. So if you ask me, I think they did go through a process of listening to everybody, right? But I can also tell you it was not like it was one view, that this is just one view and hence, guys, okay, we will take 8 of your views and 2 we will not take. It wasn't. Different people, based on the stage at which they were in India, they did have different requirements. I mean, typically the people who lost out were clear that, listen, do not involve any of the incumbents, because, they were not supposed to be at that part of time. Incumbents said, why do you want to ignore us? The people who want to invest, saying that, guys, you've already given license to these guys. Why don't you just limit it to only new people? So if you ask me, yes, different views were taken, and I can tell you it's a really difficult call for the TRA chairman, because of having to listen to different views, and ultimately, he comes to a view which he thinks is in the best interest, but I can tell you that there were different views.
Okay, so there were different views, and of course we'll sort of wait to see what it is that telcos are seeing. But Roma, with this price, do you see a pan-India license holding by any one particular company?
See, what I would say is strategically, what I would say is if someone comes in and then just manages only a few circles, it's not going to help. At the end of the day, you will need, a pan-India license. So, today or tomorrow, and obviously that's the whole path of when these auctions will happen over the next few years and when spectrum will be sort of released. But just managing only in a few circles, will not work. At the end of the day, you will need to be a pan-India player. And this is coming from previous experience of regional players who were there, not very successful, ultimately had to become pan-India players. So if anybody goes for it, they will go for a pan-India. I mean, I would doubt they would only go for specific circles.